I work at the Decatur Library, and this is a video series about ideas for what you can make for people this holiday season. I got to thinking that this might be a year that we're not able to see other people, but we can certainly make things for them and show that we care. So this week on Let's Craft Together Holiday Edition, we're going to be making some really easy white chocolate and peppermint candies. For this recipe, we just need 2 ingredients. You are going to need white chocolate melting chocolate. You're not going to want to get just regular white chocolate chips for this recipe because it's not going to set up correctly and have a nice gloss on it. So in the store you can also find like sort of bigger blocks of this stuff. It's usually called candy coating or white chocolate coating or something like that. And then you also want to get some crushed peppermint. You can buy it crushed, or you can just get some peppermint sticks or candy canes and crush them up. You want to unwrap them before you crush them, put them in a couple of bags, like a Ziploc bag, and then just go ahead and crush those with anything you have that's heavy. So something like a mallet or a rolling pin works really nicely. You will also need some chocolate molds. And so the one that I'm going to be using today is this snowflake one that I'm going to show you. You can find these at a lot of different craft stores, cake decorating stores, kitchen stores, that kind of thing. There's lots of different ones. I'll show you a couple. I have the nutcrackers and then assorted other things. Hopefully you can see that. There's a Christmas tree, Santa Claus, etc. So if you don't want to use one of these molds, that's totally fine. The nice thing about these is that your chocolates are going to come out real shiny on top and really nice and nicely shaped. They look very professional. But if you don't have these or you don't want to get them, you can just put out your melted chocolate on a piece of tin foil and then sprinkle your peppermint over top and then break it up once it's all set. We'll also need a microwave safe container. I like to use a 2-cup measuring cup. I like the height of it so it's easier to mix around and get everything incorporated. If you do not want to use your microwave, or if you don't have one, you can use a double boiler to melt the chocolate in. That works just fine as well. And you also need a spoon. All right, let's get started. So first step here is to get our chocolate all into our microwave safe bowl. And then you're going to want to microwave this and melt it down about 20 to 30 seconds at a time, and make sure that you mix that with your spoon between each of those melting times. So we have this chocolate gently melted, and you can see I have a couple of little lumps here. Just continue to mix that. You do not want to overheat the white chocolate and burn it. All right, so once that is all melted, go ahead and dump your candy cane pieces in, and you can adjust the amount that you put in depending on your liking. And you can also add a little bit in, mix it up, see what it looks like, and add more or less depending on, well, you can't add less, but you can add more depending on what you like. So you can add a little bit at a time. All right, so now we're going to grab our mold and start filling them. You're going to want to get a little bit of mixture in your spoon, and then just go ahead and drop it into each of the molds. I like to do this a little bit at a time because I think it just makes it a little easier, and you can get a more precise fill on each of the sections. Once you fill it, you're going to just tap the mold down, and that will make the backside really flat. And if you have any air bubbles in it, it will release those air bubbles. So now that I have all of my molds filled, we're gonna pop this in the freezer for a few minutes so they can set. As you can see here, I made a couple mistakes and it's a little messy there, but I'm not gonna worry about that. As soon as we knock these out of the mold, all of those little bits will come off as well. So while you've got that first batch in, you can go ahead, if you have more than one tray of these, you can go ahead and fill them. I just wanted to show you, if you have molds that have a little bit of a thin edge on them, it can sometimes be helpful to use a toothpick. So you drop it in first, You can give it a shake, that will help. But if you need to spread it around a little bit more, getting that little toothpick in there can really, really help a lot. So I've had my first batch in the freezer for about 7 minutes. I would check it after 5, but the time is going to change depending on the size of your molds and how much chocolate there is in there. But you can tell they're done because they'll feel cold to the touch, and there will be no squishing around when you touch them. So we're going to flip it over and just knock them right out. And there you have your little candies. As you're popping these candies out too, you may have some, especially if you have ones that are different sizes on the same tray, they may stick like these ones are. That's just a sign that it needs another minute in the freezer. So go ahead and put it back in the freezer. If your mixture of chocolate tightens up a little bit as you're trying to pour them into the molds too, you can just pop it back in the microwave for about 10 seconds at a time. You just want to be careful not to overdo it. Just very gently mix it and heat it as you do that. So now that you have your peppermint white chocolate candies finished, you're going to want to package them up in a nice way. And the last video we did on this series was how to make this little gnome container. So you could use that, or a little tin, or really anything that you have. I also wanted to show you some books from the library that might give you some more ideas for things to bake or make during the holiday season. One of them is this, The 100 Most Jewish Foods. It has a lot of recipes for Hanukkah as well as a bunch of other holidays in there. If you want to try to go a little healthier this season, America's Test Kitchen has this book, Naturally Sweet. So it uses natural sugars and less sugar to be able to make a little bit healthier treats. And if you want to go full on the sugar, this is a great book called Ultimate Cookies, all about how to decorate all kinds of cookies. It's really great. It has a lot of instructions and step-by-step information. Please check out our other Crafting for the Holidays videos from the last few weeks, and be sure to check in next week, next Wednesday, for the final episode in this series. All right, happy crafting!